Hi guys, Luca here from Sabre Airsoft with another video here. Today we're having a look at the new Delta Vanguard AEG series, complete with ETU. It's a Vortex ETU. What that means is it's basically an E-shooter, but it is exclusive to the Delta Vanguard series. And this is actually the third one that I've purchased. And that's not because they're broken, it's because I sold the other two. And we'll get into why in a second. These retail at very, 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 very low price. And for the price, this thing is punching well above its weight. Honestly has no right being as good as it is. I took it up to the range when I got the first one, thinking, £150, which is the MSRP, give or take, depending on the model. £150, I wasn't expecting much at all. I expected it to be okay. I expected it maybe to push hop 2.8 and maybe go 40 meters. Instead, what I found was I put 3.2s in it and it was able to hit 60 meters extremely easily. And there was still more room for it to shoot heavy weights, though I don't think going above 3.2 without changing the spring out is a wise idea. It was at 0.89 joules, thereabouts, on 3.2s with a hop set, which is perfectly reasonable. Yeah, fine, you could try and push it up to 1 joule, but it's not really needed, especially if you're heading out to 60 meters at that power. I reckon, though, this will compete, and it's because of the hop unit. The hop unit is different in this compared to the other AEG series. So again, £150. The other line that they do now with the V2 gearboxes, £100. Really cheap, but doesn't feel cheap. That's the important part. Doesn't feel cheap, and it performs. So let's have a look. We're going to do what we usually do on this channel, and we're going to rip it apart. I did buy the first two originally, well, the first one with the idea of ripping it apart. Didn't find the time before I went to Shift to Rift, took it with me, and someone purchased it there. And the way that I sold it to them was quite simple. I said, grab a battery, grab some 3.2s or 3s, something to that effect, and go shoot it. Go find 60 meter range and go shoot it. Come back and tell me you don't want it. They came back and they immediately bought it. So this thing sells itself in terms of performance. In the box, you get one of the newer mid-caps. These are 150s, I believe, or 130 150s. We'll have a look at that in a second. I'll just pop that over there. You get your programming card for the ETU. Now, it's not super in-depth programming that you can do. You can't do any of the adjustments of, say, for example, active brake or anything like that. But you can do, certainly, semi, 2-round, 3-round, 4-round, 5-round burst, binary trigger, and full auto. The fact that you can semi-lock this should be appealing for some sites that are semi-only, because that means if you were to use this as your rental fleet, then you don't have to worry about the person renting using full auto intentionally or even accidentally, because you can just semi-lock it. So that's going to be appealing to a lot of sites, I imagine. Also, it being Nuprol, parts availability is fantastic, as Nuprol are very good at keeping most parts in stock, and Dan, their head tech, is very, very helpful as well. Obviously, you get the gun itself. You also get a unjamming rod. I have about 1 million of these. This sheet, this is something that did irritate me. So this is a quick start guide, or that's supposed to take you to a quick start guide. And I believe here as well, scan QR code for full manual. What hilarity, it might have changed since I last looked, but all that did is take you to this. The safety warnings and the precautions. I would like Nuprol to please, when you release something like this with these QR codes, upload the documents before you release the platform. Please. I think that's fair, right? So we'll keep the card out, we'll put this back in there. And then we'll take this out. Now, there is slots here in the foam that you could put additional things in. Like this could be taken out deeper look, and you could put more mags in there than what comes with. And same again over here, you could put like optics or grips or something in there, which is quite a nice little feature of the packaging. I'll just put that to one side for now, as we don't need it. And we'll have a look at this. Now, obviously I took it up to the range before I ripped it apart, because I wanted to test it in its out-of-the-box state which I think is the fairest way to test something. But immediate things that you'll notice, I'm just going to get rid of this warning sticker before it gets on there and never comes off properly. Immediate things you'll notice. 1, metal barrel, but otherwise full polymer. Number 2, Magpul CTR style stock, but unlike the normal CTR stocks, you can actually remove the butt plate. Although I have found it is a bit fiddly when it's brand new. It does get easier, but you can, honestly, easier to just pull this off. Another thing, wired to Dean's out of the box. Let's get a battery and see how she sounds. It can take 11 ones, but I wouldn't recommend it. Instead, I'd recommend using 7.4s. But we are going to do both. So 11.1, and I think this is a 7.4. Yeah, 7.4. Ron, thank you to Hobby King for sending out these Tenergy batteries. Right, so we'll start with 7.4. Double beep. Safe. Semi. Full. So, not the greatest. Probably change the motor height to make that sound a little bit better. So let's try it on 11.1. Semi. Full. Again, a little bit zippy. This one is probably the zippiest one that I've had yet. The other two really weren't that bad, so I'm going to put it back in on the 7.4, and then I'm going to try and change the motor height a little bit and see if that improves anything. Flathead. Put it to semi. Oh, getting a bit too far there. Ever so slightly better. Yeah, I'd say that's a lot better actually. There you go. So that's all it required, was just a bit of a motor height adjustment. Easy peasy. Other things you're going to notice. You're going to notice some little things that'll make you think Spectre arms. I'll just zoom you in a second. So, for example, this screw here, that's very reminiscent of Spectre. The hop unit, you might be forgiven for thinking it's Spectre, but even Spectre didn't make that hop unit. As I've since found out, it is actually a third-party company, and what Spectre did is the same thing that Nuprol's done. They've gone to this third-party company, and they've just basically collated a bunch of parts and then assembled this in their own factory. The irons that it comes with are polymer, but they are very strongly sprung, and I'd say perfectly good for the job. Again, I would just want to remind you guys, this is only £150. It's not top of the line in terms of material, and yet there's no receiver wobble. Everything's on there really, really solid. And this is one of the few things out of the box that I'm willing to give my my full warranty on. Like, absolute 100% warranty. You could even, I think, put a bullpup kit on this. I don't have one, but because the the trigger guard is removable, certainly for winter. Oh, come on, there we go. I'm pretty sure you could put one on here, actually. Might be something I explore in the future, but I don't have one, so we're not going to do that today. Alright, let's do what we do best. Let's rip it to pieces. Oh, before I do that, the hop unit. I'm just going to show you. This is one thing that made me realise it is very, very different. Is it actually has clicker indent and numbers. If you see that. And again, 3 2s out of the box. Can't argue with that. Right. First off, let's get the motor out. Let's have a look at the motor. Phillips head 1 or 2. That is a 2. Yeah, Phillips head 2. Start that. Just gonna move that. Appear to have lost one of my tool trays, which is very irritating. Shifter riff got a bit chaotic when it came to packing up, so it means some things have gone missing. I don't think anyone's stolen it. I think it's just in with Dragonfire's stuff. Motor, I expect, will be pretty standard. Let's have a quick look. Ooh, it's not quite. This is, I think, a higher torque motor than what comes in their other series. Officially, well, unofficially, I have been advised that in theory this could use up to an M150. I wouldn't recommend that at all, but that's what I've been advised by no one in particular. The pinion gear is fairly well rounded. It's not sharp, and the edges are beveled, so that's good. The motor tower is double bearing or single bearing. It's the perfect height for the motor. There's not really any wobble back and forth, but I can't tell if that's a single or a double bearing. Wiring is nice and solid. Not too worried about that. There are 4 screws to the grip. Let's take the upper off though before we continue. Is that the right size by any chance? Oh, it is. How about that? That is a 2.5. Get that on there. And again, I'm taking this apart so you don't have to. And also I've got a few other techs who have been curious about this and want to know my thoughts, so hence I'm tearing it apart, mostly for them. And for you guys, obviously. There we go. Ooh, that's a new specially printed gearbox as well. Interesting. This is my first time taking this apart. I've wanted to, but I haven't actually yet. Ooh, hello. Okay, so we have some very interesting things going on here. Very, very interesting. Brass barrel. It's quality-wise, I'd say mid-tier as far as the polish on the inside goes. Could do with the lapping to make it really smooth, but otherwise okay. Was there a spring in that? Yeah, there was. Cool. So there is a spring to keep it against the gearbox. That's good. See how that interfaces in there. Oop. Yeah, pretty well. There is a bit of side-to-side play. That shouldn't be too much of an issue. Let's. I want to see what the magic is behind this. Let's try and get that off, shall we? Actually, let's take the adjustment off first. Let's use that one. So there's an O-ring here for the adjustment ring. There we go, we'll take that off. Pull that off, and then can we... Oh, it is like, that's basically a TDC. Ooh, very, very interesting. Dan, what have you cooked up here? Oh, let's take that off. Because if these hop units are as good compatibility-wise as what the ZCI rotary is, this might be a really, really possible replacement for it. Ooh, I'm excited, guys. I am genuinely excited. Because if you can get these separately, like, look at that unit. That's all it... Okay, there is... Ooh, that looks like an Omega-style nub as well. So, that's your tension applicator. Ooh, on focus. As you can see, that is straight up and down. Pop that in there a second. It is, look, that's a flat hop nub. Ooh, this is looking very, very promising, guys. There's a metal centering ring as well. Look. That's way better than what you'd normally get with brass ones. Now I'm going to say what I know Kelly from Nuprol is going to say if I cheekily asked her. No, I don't get warranty. She said that to me in the past because of what I do to these things. Basically, I never get warranty, and I'm okay with that. Oh, there we go. These are not just locking clips, they're not just barrel clips, but they are locking ones, so they are a bit more of a pain to get off. But it's no biggie. Let's see if I can get it out without tearing that O-ring, the hot rubber. Can you come out? Oh, there we go. So again, that Very, very handy and better than brass. That feels like aluminium. They've greased up that. That looks, at least from the external, that should look familiar to a lot of guys. Got another one here, look. Very similar, look. Short feed lips. But I'm wondering and guessing that the contact patch is probably... Come on, you. Off you come. There we go. Just have a look here. Oh, okay, interesting. Oh, right, okay. Yeah, so I remember, so Dan told me that this is flat hopped out of the box. And it really is that. There is, the contact patch is literally just the radius of it. That is actually flat hopped. I'm trying to think of anything else that's flat hopped out of the box. I can't quite think off the top of my head. I want to test something else as well. Let me just clean up the end of this real quick. Let's grab an F-bomb. Try that out. This is not flat hopped, but we'll have a look. Mostly I just want to see if the hop window is sufficiently wide. Well, it goes on perfectly fine. Yep, hop window's big enough as well. I wonder if using one of these would be a wise idea. I'll have to experiment. I'll put the original back on for now. Now, if we can get these hop units from Nuprol individually, there's a very real possibility that they could potentially compete with the ZCIs as far as the go-to recommended hop unit to use. Pop that back in there. Notice I'm not putting PTFE tape on it. I'm going to experiment with that though. If I can just get another one of these combos. Dan, if you're watching this, chuck me another barrel combo like this, and then all I'll do to test if there's any kind of difference with the PTFE argument is I'll just do it on one and not the other. But yeah, Dan, chuck me another one of these, would you? I'll email him. Pop this back on. I don't feel like it's centered properly. There we go. Now it is. Put this back in. That is a very nice snug fit. Next is the tensioner, or the actual thing that is called the bucking. This is a bucking. Okay. This is a hop rubber. Bucking, hop rubber. Important distinction. I'll just drop that back in there. Make sure it's actually flat. There we go. Tension applicator. Oh, don't know what other word you might use for it. Slots in there. Transfer arm. Pin. Which again, this is very snug. This is really... I wouldn't expect this level of fit and fitness to be in a £150 gun. I just would not expect it. Now I know some people are like, oh, well, you're just a Nuprol fan. I am very critical of Nuprol. Very critical of them. How's that indexing then? I can feel it. Oh, I see, look. There's these little ridges here. And then I'm guessing it's just going up against this ridge here. Interesting. I'm actually very critical of Nuprol. But I'm also quite a fan of them at the same time because they do listen to feedback. When I've given feedback to them, a few months down the line, it's been implemented because it does take time for things to get implemented. And the other reason why I spend so much time looking at their products and doing videos on their products is because in my local area, this is what people buy. They can't afford to spend the thousands and thousands that other people do. So they go for the cheaper stuff. And this is very cheap. So of course people are going to buy this. Hence why I focus on this sort of thing. I would love to. I would love to work on, to show off and talk more about some of the more expensive things. I do own, for example, I have my own Wolverine M2W. I've got, what else have I got? Well, actually, I've got quite a lot of things. I've got quite a lot, including some rare bits, or certainly uncommon. It's not really the point of this video, but like, for example, there's this KWA USP match. You don't see those very often. It's not very good, but you don't see them very often. I don't know, actually, it is quite good. But I don't really use it. I don't really use sidearms. Okay, moving on. Move on. Focus, Luca. Usual bolt release that will fall out when everyone loses. Let's get the stock off. Stock. We need you. We need you. And I think it's going to be a, yep, Phillips head. Hup. Now, I believe this is a quick change spring. We'll see how quick change it is. If it's just a case of removing the stock, brilliant. Is it one of those? Yeah, it is. It is the type that you need to kind of remove before pulling out completely. There we go. Yep, there we go. That's out. Woo! Don't lose it. Sling plate. Brick standard. Double sling plate. Nothing to write home about there. Ooh, yeah, looks like we can. Okay. Just get the... Yep, that is a 6 or a 5? 6. 6mm hex bit. Can you come out? It wants to. There we go. There we go, guys. So it is quick change spring. This is quite a short spring, but it's quite strong. Like in terms of, if I was to compare this to an XT and I picked an XT this strength, I'd say this feels like an M120, but because it's shorter and not graduated, it's probably equivalent to an M100 or an M95. Spring guide, plastic, but it does have a frost bearing on it. Let's get the grip off next. So 4 grip screws. That does seem to be the way most manufacturers are going these days, rather than just 2, which is great. You only really need 2, but having the extra 2 doesn't hurt. No kind of... It's got a built-in washer, but no additional washers or anything of that nature. Again, don't do this unless you know how to put it back together. It will void your warranty. And if something's gone wrong, and it's within the warranty period, which I think Nuprol offer 3 months manufacturer's warranty, and then it's down to your retailer after that. Some will say 6, some will stick with a 3. Me personally, I just have a lifetime warranty. Well, limited lifetime warranty as long as you book it in for a service every year. But I'm not really one to sell riffs. I normally just repair them. But if you are interested in one of these after this video, get in touch. As long as you've got a valid defense, I will be happy to get one in for you. These are genuinely flying off the shelves. I was really, really blown away by the performance of them. It is a standard AEG grip. I know some people don't like the grips with the finger groove. One of the guys who bought one off me wants me to fit something like a Magpul MOE, which is fine. Both the wires, by the way, do want to sit towards the back in case you change the motor out. I would not recommend putting a brushless in unless you change the ETU out for repairing, simply because you can't check to see if there's any active brake or anything in these, and you can't modify that in the programming, so get a pairing if you're going to put a brushless in it. That's that off. Out you come. Again, polymer, 2 threaded inserts, but seems to be well made. I mean, I've not really shot this and I don't see any carbon, which I should hope so, out of the box. Just double check the brushes. Yeah, normal standard brushes. If you do recognise this motor, let me know. I know someone on my Discord probably will. Go ahead and join the Discord, by the way, link in the description below. It's all about technical discussions and ideas and exploring ideas. No idea is too stupid. But if you recognise this OEM, let me know.
Future Luca here. Just coming in real quick, just to say that after this video, I did go and look up a lot of these parts. What I discovered is that the ECU is the Zion Arms Nebula. It is 1-to-1 the Zion Arms Nebula. And I have something tickling in the back of my head that suggests that the hop unit and motor are also both from Zion Arms. So there you go. Anyway, back to the video.
I personally don't recognise the blue back. Next up is the who'd and what's it? My words are going today, aren't they? What words am I looking for, guys? Mag catch, that's the one. Just another Phillips head. I personally would like to see that as a Torx. I would much prefer just Torx everywhere over Phillips head, but beggars can't be choosers. Okay, there we go. Next, let's get the 2 body pins out. See if they want to come out easily. Nah, of course not. Where's my bench block? Oh, blocky. There we are. And then let's grab the punch. Gonna do it with my hand. No. Hammer! Okay, that was in there. Oh, that's interesting. So it's nailed. Nailed. So that'll explain why it was a bit tougher. So because that's nailed, something to note, guys, is once you've taken it out and put it in a couple of times, that nailing kind of becomes pointless. That's for interference fits, and that interference doesn't last if you keep taking it apart and putting it back together. Rose pin is the last one. That looks like it wants to come out this way. Is the punch that I've got the right size? Yes, but I'm going to go one lower. Losing my mind today. Oop. Usually you can just push these out. See if I got the right direction. I did not. Go the other way. As I say, the fitment on this is very snug. Is it that way? Yeah. And again, I'm going to keep saying this. 150 quid, guys. I would not expect this for 150 quid at all. So, fun fact about the rose pin, not actually needed. And if you're doing HPA and an engine install, get rid of it. That's how you do alignment. Okay. Let's have a look at this. Inside, yeah, standard selector. Nothing really worthy of note. There's a bit of flex to it, but I think the CM16 from G&G has a lot more flex than that. Okay, externals of the gearbox. I'm just going to grab one more gearbox just compared to. Here you go. So this is the normal gearbox shell in the other AEG series that they do. So, things to note. This tells you a lot of things that you might need to know if you're not familiar with gearboxes. This one doesn't really. All this tells you is sector gear, rear wired, spur gear, bevel gear, and that is a Delta Vanguard. So the print's different, but I think it is the same shell, which would make sense. Yep, radius corners on both, that's good. Ooh, that's a difference. I know that these come with Phillips head. These are Allen keys. Interesting, that is a difference. What else can we see? flip them over. So they're all bushings. That's black, these become red ones, and a red nozzle, like that, basically. Flip it over. Selector is the same. That's good. It looks like safety is the same as well, same mold at least. Different. No, it's slightly different mold. Ever so slightly different. Different trigger as well. Horrible flat trigger. A note with these two, with this gearbox shell though, that I've found very, very helpful is this little window here. This is an AOE window, so you can use this to see the angle of engagement and see if you got an AOE correction is needed. So that's what that's for, in case you didn't know. What else we got? Another feature on this is you can unleash the tension. I can already see the grease is horrible grease, but you can undo any tension that's in the system by in here. You can see the anti-reversal latch, and you can just let go of the tension that's on it. Is that? Yeah. Very handy, especially if you've got a lockup. You just need to get access to that window and you can unwind it. Not something you used to get. Alright, let's get this open and have a look inside, shall we? See if I've got one. Yeah. So they are 2mm. Cool. Let's get you zoomed in a bit for this one, for this bit. Yes, I usually build to open gearboxes. Why wouldn't I? Do you know how many of these I open on a daily basis? Too many. And doing that by hand would take forever. Right, let's find out what magic secrets you hold. Do want to preserve the shimming if I can. Where is my... There it is. Let's get these batteries out of the way. So that is for the sector gear, top side, spare gear, and bevel gear. If you are interested in these gear holders, by the way, guys, they are available on the website. This is Alice's design. This is cakes in grease. Jesus. Let's take this out first. Is that? It does go all the way to the front, and don't actually. Before I take it out, hold on. Ooh. So it wants to pop up this way. That's quite common, but otherwise. Okay, that's pretty decent. It's all the way forward, which is great, and is touching. It kind of wants to go a bit further, so you maybe scoop it out a little bit, but otherwise that's pretty good. And again, £150, guys. 150, not 300, not 250. Let's test initial compression. Perfect, out of the box. Let's test it with a nozzle, which I doubt has an O-ring. Start with fully down. Yeah, there is some loss over there. Nozzle there. Test extended. Yeah, quite a lot of loss. That could be improved. What's the nozzle length we are looking at? Don't know, because it's dead. It needs to get a new battery in it. If I had to guess, it's going to be 21. 21.1 maybe. Looks like a 21. Okay, that's fine. Metal rack, that's good. Polymer piston head, it's not a problem. Looks like there are thrust bearings inside as well. Again, interesting. So they've opted for removing this tooth here, but like a lot of places, they haven't got rid of it, they just shortened it. Honestly, if you're not going to include that, just have it completely flat. Otherwise, yeah, I mean, it looks like a perfectly fine, perfectly acceptable piston. That looks pretty standard, nothing to write home about. And the cylinder again, nothing to write home about. Standard gears, you can't get more bog standard than these really. I can leave that one on, pop that in there. Sector gear, yeah, why? This, so you see this magnet? That's because this uses a magnet to detect cycle, point in the cycle. It still has a cam, so you can still use it with other things, but this is the same as the, I've actually got one here, fair enough. Same deal as this ETU here. This uses the same system. In fact, that gear is probably exactly the same gear as that one. Spare gear, put that in there, no shims left behind, and then we've got anti-reversal latch completely caked. Seems like all the grease went onto just the anti-reversal latch. Classic. Where'd that spring go? Somewhere. Doesn't matter, I've got loads of them. Oh, there it is. So yeah, standard anti-reversal latch. I mean, like all of these parts, frankly, have just come from probably the same place every other one does. Trigger, standard trigger, so you should be able to use anything, any normal trigger or max trigger if you're so inclined. Let's have a look at the ETU. So, what I'm going to say is, this switch right here, that's going to break. That will be the first thing to go, most likely. Magnet sensor probably will be fine. I would suggest that when this ETU breaks, replace it with a Perrin, which it looks like you should be able to do. It's a standard V2 gearbox, apart from this particular ETU. There's an American flag there. That's interesting. If you recognise the layout of this ETU, let me know. Especially if you recognise any serial numbers. What's that say on the bottom there? Ah, cool. So there is this little window here for the wiring. That's good. Quite like that. It makes it easier to put the wiring to one side. What's that there? Ah, interesting. Zion Arms. So maybe this isn't an ETU shooter. I'm going to have to look that up. Zion Arms is the one that made this. There's the serial number as well. Version 2.3. Let's take off and have a look at the back, because I think that's the other place that will probably break if it does break. Me being me, I am going to replace this with Perrin, probably a Perrin Lightning, and probably one of Luke's new ones, because I quite like them. Standard selector plate. Yeah, so the other thing that I can guarantee is going to break is this selector here. These switches, I keep trying to tell people, are terrible. So I will be putting a Perrin V2 Lightning in. However, until that breaks, there is no sense in replacing it. If it's working, leave it in. And then when it breaks, you are going to have to change out your gears. Because if you put this one, this sector gear in, with that magnet on, odds are that it might cause interference with the V2 Lightning. I will test and find out. And let you know. And that's it, guys. That is the new Delta Vanguard from Nuprol. For £150, I would say performance-wise, it is fantastic. I can't argue with it. It's shooting 3 2s out of the box at a reasonable power. If you wanted more power, it's a very, very quick and easy quick change spring. If you want to put a V2 Lightning in it, you can do that. If you want to put an HPA engine there, you can. This thing, again, for £150, like this Magpul CTR stock is well made. Well, CTR style stock, it's well made. I quite like it. What else? The handguard. I think like it comes with barrel stabilizer. I quite like it. It's quite solid. Like even at this point, it's still very solidly built. That hop unit, I want those. I want those available. I'm going to try and put this in other things and see how it does. If it does just as well, I want those flat hopped out of the box. Yes, please. Nuprol, sell these separately. Okay, because it might not be suited for everything, but for like ZCIs and that, like the way that that is applying tension, and with that barrel stabilizer, barrel centerer, that's a winner. Winner, winner, chicken dinner. I want more of these. If you're watching this Nuprol, give me more of these. Anyway, that's it for this video, guys. If you are interested in these, get in touch. Otherwise, they should be available on pretty much every single retailer. They are selling out fast, genuinely, because the second that people pick these up and use them at a range, they realize what it is, and then they look at the price and go, easy win. Let me know if you want me to cover other AEGs, any in particular. Let me know. I'll see if I can get a hold of one out of the box and give a similar teardown. I do quite like doing this, and then I like to mess with them. That's why I do the range test before I mess with them. That's it for this video, guys. Catch you on the next one.